Okay. All right, guys. So I'm going to do a little bit of a demo today, but I want you to actually pull something out ahead of time. And it's something I don't have one of these. So if you could all get your supply bags. And so out of those supply bags, grab the little like cardboard thing that has all the papers in it. Grab that.
What'd you say?
So you're going to grab the little like the plastic bag that has the piece of cardboard in it to back it. Grab that whole thing. Will has it.
I'm sorry, Ms. Scott. We have time to work on the grayscale.
Oh, yeah.
right?
Oh, you do not need to be done with that. I'm doing this so that people can get started on the other half.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
But I do.
This one?
Yes. No, RJ. There's a bag. See what Nick's holding up right there?
Is it this thing?
Yes. It's in the big bag with the canvases, guys. So one of the things that's in there should be the long strip of paper that you did your grayscale on, or if you haven't started your grayscale yet, we'll do your grayscale on. So there's a long strip of paper that's like 4 inches by 16 inches, I think, or 4 by 14 for your grayscale. But actually, RJ, you just pulled it out. Can you hold up that printout with the circles on it? So guys, you all are gonna need this for the color wheel. That right there is the color wheel. And you are going to need in there are multiple sheets of paper. You're going to see that there are 2 bigger ones that are like 10 by 12. And then there's a smaller one that's narrower. That's probably 8 across.
Blake has watercolor paper in store.
Do they have large sheets?
Like what size?
Usually they're 22 by 30. What did you find, Dion?
I got the 9 by 12 one.
You did?
Yeah.
In a pad?
Yeah.
Did you actually find arches?
Mine has a lot of them. The one on Beverly.
Really? And it was the
Yeah.
Arches cold press watercolor?
Mm-hmm. It had all 3 of them, the orange, the blue, and the green one.
Wait, that's a block. Is it a pad or a block?
I think they had both, really.
Okay,
The whole Arches section was filled.
I might have to go grab some because they're back ordered everywhere right now.
You should probably call them first because
I
went like maybe Friday.
So what are we doing right now?
Well, I'm letting everyone get out their paper. Did you get the paper out that I asked for?
I couldn't hear you.
That's not my problem, Owen. Okay, you need to pull out the paper that has all the circles on it. And you're going to pull out the smallest sheet of watercolor paper that's in there. Not the long skinny one, because that one should already be used for it, but there are 3 other sheets of watercolor paper in there. 2 of them are about the same size. One is a little bit smaller. I want you using the little bit smaller one.
I think that's it. It's the same. It's basically like if you're comparing it with the other paper, it's like
It's about the same size. Yeah, it's about 8.5 by 11.
it's like
It's a little more. It's closer to 9 by 12. I'm aware. Okay, so you're going to need those 2 things. You're also going to need some stuff out of the bag. So you need a roll of purple tape.
Oh, I've been using that like constantly.
Don't use it constantly and go through all of it. You need the roll of purple tape, and you also need the roll of yellow transfer paper. The little thing that's like in a red and yellow box.
Wait, the paper that's like this? It's like kind of long.
Whichever one is the closest size to your to the printout, Dion. There should be 3 sheets of watercolor paper in there. It's the narrowest of the 3.
Transfer paper. Nice.
Okay. So many of you will recognize that transfer paper. Those of you who haven't seen transfer, actually, I've had almost all of you in class before. So many of you will recognize transfer paper. Okay. So you need to cut yourself a sheet of transfer paper. So you open the little roll, cut a piece that will fit on top of that watercolor paper. And you're going to tape it to the watercolor paper using that purple tape. But you want to do it bright yellow side down. So bright yellow side needs to be facing the paper.
Bright yellow. Oh yeah, that's the bright side.
And I mean, if you touch the side, the brighter yellow side, yellow will come off on your hand. That's the side that faces the paper.
That should be enough. Should it like overlap?
What?
Should the yellow like overlap, or should it just cover the entire thing perfectly?
It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to cover it. It can go over the edges if you want. I don't care. Just
Okay.
don't waste basically don't waste your transfer paper. That stuff is really expensive. You guys are the
Wait,
only
where's
class
the
that got it
transfer
this year.
paper?
Wait, is it
Oh.
this paper right here?
Where's the transfer
Yes,
paper?
that's the one. So the transfer paper that you need, so you need that, Justin. There's a sheet of the watercolor paper in that same bag. So all the papers that are in there are watercolor papers except for those printouts. So there are 3 different sheets. So there's the long skinny one that you used. And then there is one that's like roughly 9 by 11. And then there are 2 that are like 10 by 12. They're a little bigger. Use the smallest of the 3 big ones. Perfect. And then you're also going to need that yellow roll of transfer paper.
Okay,
So
I have
it's
that.
it's red and yellow. So cut yourself a piece of that that'll fit on top of that watercolor paper.
Thank you.
Yeah, you guys, I have to tell you, you are the only class that got transfer paper this year.
Thank you.
You're very special. We use way too much of it in this class for me to redesign all of my projects to have you make your own transfer paper. We use way too much of it, but I'm making design make all of their own transfer paper this year.
Okay, so so we just tape it on there?
Oh, you have used this stuff so many times. You do realize that, right?
I don't remember.
Oh my God. All right. So Dion, can you hold yours up? Okay. So guys, you see how there's a side of that paper that is way brighter yellow than the other one? So you're going to take your watercolor paper. So take your paper and put the bright yellow side facing down. So you want it facing the surface of the paper. And then you're going to tape it on the edges.
Wait, Ms. Gum, tape it on this paper?
Yes. Yeah, you are going to be transferring that concentric circle thing onto the other page.
What? Why?
It's a color wheel. You can't paint on the regular paper. That's why.
Yeah, thank you, RJ.
I don't know. I was just like, why are we doing another color thing? Oh wait, color wheel. Okay. All right.
Miss Ground, my thing, I have like 4. Like I have the one that's like looks like a normal piece of paper, and then I have one that's a little bigger, but it's like really thick.
That's a board. Don't use the board.
Oh, okay. And then I only have 2 more, but like one is a little bigger than the other.
Yes. So you should have 2 larger sheets of watercolor paper, a board, and then a 4th sheet of watercolor paper.
Then use like the
Use the 4th
small-
one.
Oh, okay. So the smallest.
It's the smallest of the page size watercolor paper.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Should we put the transfer paper on the on what? Sorry. What did we put the transfer paper on? Like,
So you're gonna tape the transfer paper onto the watercolor paper.
okay, thank you.
Hey, Miss Grau, have you seen Lucas's short film?
No.
And mine.
Yeah, well, yeah, the RJ's in it. He plays a really
The
cool.
only thing Lucas did is, well, not the only thing because it's like big, but he made the music.
But
Yeah,
RJ brought the LSD.
There's LSD in the
Guys,
movie,
hold
and it's
up.
not
Box
not
of
real
transfer
LSD.
paper for me really quickly.
Hmm?
Someone hold up the box of transfer paper really quickly. Thank you, Will. So guys, if anyone can't find it, that is what it looks like. It should be in the brown bag. If for some reason you don't have one, I will mail you one because I have to mail you guys brushes anyways.
Should it be like that?
Perfect. And you are bright yellow side facing the page, yes?
Yeah.
Miss
Okay.
Brown,
Yes, dear.
for the grayscale, should I like, I drew it twice, and one of them I did it like on the inside of the paper, and the other one's like on the border. Which one do you think I should use?
Wait, let me
Like-
see, Charlie.
This one's like against, like the
Mhm.
box is against like the edge, and then the other one I just made it like centered.
Your centered one looks a hell of a lot straighter. Use that one.
Perfect.
Miss
How
Grau.
many periods of this class do you have?
Of painting, only one.
Whoa!
Not many people take this class. People know this class is a lot of work.
Miss Grau. So do we use pen like to just like transfer the color flower over?
What?
You like tape down the paper to the this and then just
Yes, exactly. So basically what Owen did, so that you take your paper, put your yellow transfer paper on top, tape it down, and then you're going to take that flower pattern thing that I have and tape it to the top of the transfer paper.
yeah.
So can you hold yours up, please, Owen?
Wait, I'm doing my last strip. All right, there you go.
Perfect. So guys, that is a perfect example. So please look at Owen.
Oh wow, you're making
Sorry,
me
everyone's looking at you, Owen. Everybody, we're all watching you.
feel so embarrassed.
You should.
Can we just put it on the cardboard also?
Jacob's face was just like pure disgust.
What, Dion?
Like, so it doesn't get on the table like this or something?
You can. I mean, it's not exactly a necessity. It's not like the stuff's super messy. This isn't like the graphite transfer paper. It doesn't get everywhere in the same way. The yellow is a lot friendlier. It's harder to see, but it's also one of the only things that won't bleed through your paint.
Bleed through your paint. Bleed through your paint. Drawing circles is boring, but I get the process.
Okay, you don't need to transfer it in this moment.
Oh, what?
I mean, you can. It's not going to hurt if you do it, but I want to do the color theory demo. I just wanted to make sure you all had that down before. Oh, so guys, those of you who haven't used transfer paper, basically, once all of that is taped down, you are just going to go over those circles using a ballpoint pen or a pencil. And you want to press relatively hard. It will transfer the image just like carbon paper. It will transfer the image onto your watercolor paper. So it's not going to be super dark, especially like I said. So the reason we use the yellow in painting versus when I use graphite or blue or red or white or any of the other colors is because yellow is the only one that will not leach upward through the paint over time. So it blends the best. You end up fighting it the least. So it's really, so I understand that it is light when we put it down, but it is something you'll get used to. And so basically you're going to draw over that and transfer your circles on. For now, you can just leave that if you are done. However, if you're done with your grayscale, you can start to work on this once I do the demo. But let me get set up. So if you're transferring, go ahead and keep transferring. Peter, any luck with that?
No.
Okay. Can you pull your brown bag up for me really quickly while people are transferring stuff? Okay. Just start pulling things out. Let's just go through it. Okay, that's sketchbook. All right. That's brush roll.
Oh, what happened?
Brown bag with tape and stuff.
I'm back with
Okay, box, yeah. Okay, can you do me a favor, and nothing else is in there?
There's a little like tube. Like this thing.
Oh yeah, the bottle. And okay, so and nothing's in your canvas bag that looks like that? And could it have fallen out in your car?
There's only canvases in the canvas bag.
And then the bag of paper, right?
What bag of paper?
There should be a
Like the
bag that
one
has
with the
like,
cardboard in it.
yeah, the one with the cardboard on it.
Yeah, I have that
Okay. So will you double check your car for me today?
one. Yes.
Because I'm just saying, because I know I built them. If for some reason it's not in your car, it means it fell out accidentally, and I will just send you one when I send you a brush. But you can go ahead and start your grayscale today, since you got your stuff yesterday. I know you haven't started it. So for you, and for anyone who hasn't started their grayscale at this point, you want the 4-inch by 14-inch long strip of paper that is in there, as well as that. Yeah, Will is holding it up right now. There's only one thing that's that size. And so you want that, and you want the printed out grayscale out of that, and those are the colors you'll be matching to. But I do want to do this color theory demo for you quickly so that other people can get moving on with that. I'm going to give you a few days to finish this. This isn't something that I expect you to be done with in like a day. All right. Let's see. Can someone hold up the concentric circle pattern for me? Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Well, more people are doing it. I'm not gonna do it.
Thank you. And then
Mr. God, did you pack us a pencil sharpener? Because I can't
did
find
not.
one. Ooh.
I did not pack you a pencil sharpener. I assumed that you guys had pencil sharpeners.
I do, but all of them are shitty.
Jalen, if you want, does anyone else need a pencil sharpener?
I get one of these.
One, it takes a lot of technique for it to not break the tip of the pencil every time I use it.
Okay, so you need a pencil sharpener. How many people need pencil sharpeners? Okay, I will send those out with brushes for you guys. I'll just
Thank
go.
you so much.
Yeah, I will get you one. But for now, deal with your crappy one, okay?
Is there somewhere to turn the gray thing in?
Not yet, but there will be.
Okay.
It'll be on canvas.
The best pencil sharpener to get the best point is the knife. It is.
Yeah, but that is one of those things that I will teach you later on. If you're
Or X-Acto blades. But
I like X-Actos personally. Dane, can you hold that up for me one more time? Okay, there's one after each of those.
yeah, Dane.
Okay, what am I missing? 1, 2, 3, middles,
Miss Grau.
tertiary. Yes, dear. Tertiary.
When I was looking at when I clicked on the video to look at the scale thing, it said that the video was unavailable, and you can look at it.
Did it ask you for a password?
No, it said that the page cannot be found anymore.
I think it's because Loyola stopped using the Canvas LTI integration.
Okay.
So I will redo.
I was in Georgia, so I didn't I was paying attention, but I forget.
I'll go over some little bits of the grayscale for you guys today, okay?
Thank you.
Because I know that a few of you are starting again with that.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. I think that's enough for me to get started. I will ask you again to hold that up in a few minutes. Okay, Dane? Yeah, Justin, what's up?
Wait, Ms. Grau, is this how you do it for the yellow paper? Like that?
That looks perfect.
All right, thank you.
And then you're
Wait,
going
do
to
I
tape
tape
that other
the-
circle thing on top.
Do I tape that on there too? Okay, thank you.
Ms. Grau, my camera is fucked. I dropped it.
That's your fault.
So I don't know if you'll be able to tell,
Uh-huh.
but I finished doing the taping thing.
Uh-huh.
If this looks right.
I-
So I've got that, and then I taped it.
Yeah, that looks perfect, John.
All right, perfect.
Oh wow, your camera is destroyed.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just drew myself a quick version of that on this paper. But sorry, this is a little weird at my kitchen table here. Okay. All right, we can see. Okay, so for this, you will only be using the colors. You will not be using black and white. So I put a little bit of magenta, a little bit of cyan, and a little bit of primary yellow.
Isn't the center supposed to be black?
What?
Is the center supposed to be black?
It is, but we're gonna make black.
And like, oh.
So that is gonna be the first thing, and it's actually one of the harder tasks about this is you're gonna have to mix black.
Well, don't we have black?
You do, but we're gonna learn to mix black.
Mixing black is fun.
So the reason for mixing black is actually very, I mean, it's interesting because optically there are some very good reasons for doing it. So especially when we're talking about paint, anytime we're looking at the color wheel, so this is a color wheel. So if you're looking at that little circle, and actually in your box of Holbein gouache, you will see that there's a little like pamphlet you can pull out. Can one of you grab that? There you go. RJ has it out. So if you guys pull that out, it's going to give you a bunch of formulas for different colors. So it's going to tell you what each of those colors are mixed using. It's actually, this is one of those paints that the way it describes a formula is 100% accurate. So if we're looking to mix black, which is our middle piece on here, so it's the big middle circle, and I will post a thing that tells you what colors to put where, but it does match that Holbein little diagram. Because I think how many people do I have who are actually done with the grayscale? Okay, so like 4 of you. So I know a few of you are still working. Okay. All right, so if you are moving on to the color wheel, so I'm going to go ahead and point my camera down here. So in order to make black, if you follow that little sheet, you're going to take equal parts of red, blue, and yellow with your palette knife. And it's not black in the most, like, it's not as pure as just black from the tube. But the reason to use a made black is because all 3 of these colors optically influence anything around them. So when we talk about color theory, we talk about how different colors interact. So if you look at that sheet, you're going to notice we have what are called the primary colors, right? Which are my 3 here. So in this case, that is magenta, cyan, and yellow. So those are our primaries. The next set that gets mixed from those, so what do, like, I mean, I know it's a kindergarten question. What do red and blue make?
Purple.
Purple.
So, and what do blue and yellow make?
Green.
Green.
And what do red and yellow make?
Orange.
Orange.
One.
So when we look at those, so I'm doing the math on here, but so this is a primary, and a primary. If you mix 2 primary colors, you get what is called a secondary color. So 2 primaries equal a secondary. So blue, so literally you can think of it like a math equation. 1 + 1 = 2. So that's purple. 1 + 1 = 2, which is green. So those are our secondary colors. What kind of color do you think we get when we mix a secondary and a primary?
Tertiary.
Tertiary. Very, very well done, RJ. So that, again, basic math. So 2 + 1 is going to equal a tertiary color. So anytime we talk about these, this color theory is something that we all know kind of intuitively on some level. But once we actually have this filled out, I'm going to go over what complementaries and all of the different color schemes are, and you're going to be able to use this as a reference. But for now, all you need to know is that primaries, we have the primaries, which are straight out of the tube. We have secondaries, which are mixed with 2 colors in 50% proportions. And then we have tertiaries, which are mixed in taking your secondary color that you have made and adding 50% of one of the primaries. So I'm going to show you how to do that. But when I talk about what complements one another across this thing, which so this is the reason for the mixed black, is that, to bring this all the way around, is that mixed black, since it contains all three of those colors, will continue to optically influence the things around it because paint works through color, essentially through the refraction of light. So as soon as light bounces off of a black that has been made of all three of those colors, you're going to have it influence the things around it in a better way than if it was just flat black. Because just flat black, so like this is a pigmented black, right? So this is a tube of black paint. This is a black pigment. It is not made of anything else. It's made, honestly, it's probably made of, what is it? It should tell me a pigment number on here. It's pigment black 7, which means it's ivory black, I believe. So it's carbon. It's already black in color. It doesn't have any of the refractive qualities of what we're going to end up making. So if you put tube black next to another color, they're not really going to interact because it doesn't have anything to bounce against with one another. I promise all of that will make a lot more sense once you're actually in practice here. But so I'm going to go ahead and mix these three colors together.
Should I save the transfer sheet?
You don't need to, no.
Okay.
Okay, so once you mix these together, it's going to be a brownish color. It's not going to be a true black, but it will work as a pure neutral. So in my case, mine has a slightly red skew. I don't know if you guys can see that, but you'll see that it's just pinkish in a couple of these spots. I don't want that. I want it to be a little bluer. So I went ahead and put a little more blue in it. Okay, there we go. That's a good neutral. So once I mixed blue, it is a very dark color. It is not necessarily what you would consider to be black, but it is mixed black. So I am going to go ahead and fill in part of my middle circle with that. So again, Goldilocks amount of paint. But so there is my mixed black going down, and it is actually a good neutral color. I did a nice job. I'm not going to fill all of these in because that's just way too time consuming. But you do want these to be really opaque when you put them in. So I will show you mine in a sec. Oh God, I hate rough watercolor paper. There's a reason I never used this pad.
I hate rough watercolor too. Watercolor paper too is not my favorite.
Oh, it's terrible. It's just so chunky. Okay, so you can see once that actually does look essentially like a black. So you're going to fill in your middle circle using your mixed black. Now comes the easy part. These three around it are for the three primaries. So that is just basically paint out of the tube. So I'm going to go ahead and opaquely fill those using paint out of the tube. I would suggest changing your water between your mixed black and filling in your primaries, because otherwise you are going to end up with grayed down colors. So there is my magenta. So again, this is straight out of the tube. So my magenta is going in one. My blue is going in the other large one next door. And you will notice that there are density differences between these colors. Like you might need a little more cover in certain ones. The red is the densest of the three. The yellow is the least dense. All right, so I got my cyan in there. So there's my cyan bubble. And I am going to go to my yellow one now. I should have done yellow first, but I'm going to live with it because I'm getting other colors in here right now. Oh, that's not going to look good. Okay, so I shouldn't have done that. I actually didn't take my own advice. Can you guys see that? Can you guys see the big smear of color in there that shouldn't be there?
Kinda, yeah.
So basically, there was a little bit of blue in my water. So I'm gonna go change my water because right now my water is like this horrible purple color.
Bro, that's why you use 2 water cups. 2.
You can use 2 water cups. That's actually a good piece of advice, Owen.
It is the best piece of advice. You wash your brush in one, and then you use the other one
I'm
for
not that organized.
color.
Okay, so I got myself some new water because I'm actually gonna show you a trick. So if you screw something up, like I just did, actually I need a paper towel for this, but if you screw something up and you're like, uh-oh, what do? I've got a big blotch of blue in my yellow. You're gonna take brand new water with your brush and get your paper where your paint is relatively wet. And you're just gonna lightly scrub using the tip of your brush. So it's kind of like this. You just do a little back and forth motion. And then you're gonna take a paper towel and plant it on to your very wet paint. So it won't lift the color entirely, but it will lift your mistake.
So me, haha.
So I'm gonna go ahead and lift this one more time. So I'm just gonna lift a little bit of color off of that.
No one laughed.
There we go.
Because it was a very obvious joke, Owen.
It was,
Like,
it's a very, very obvious joke, and we're just gonna ignore that it ever happened.
I just made that joke. This okay? Cool.
Well, it's partially because I'm lecturing and I can't see my screen right now because it's pointed at my.
All in favor of server muting Owen again.
We're not gonna serve Owen.
Aye.
Yo, freshman year, oh my God. In math class, we made a constitution so we could vote out Vincent Gums whenever
That
we
was
wanted
so
to.
funny.
Oh my
Oh my
God. Okay, guys, focus.
We basically did it every class. It was
Okay.
great.
So now that I have new water and stuff, I'm gonna go ahead and get some yellow over here. And I'm gonna go ahead and repaint over my yellow area, which will now not have blue in it. Oh, my paper's so saturated. Bleh. Okay, so now my yellow's in there. So we've got our yellow bubble that's gonna go in there. So now, I know that it's a pretty design and stuff, but if you notice, so I've got circle, middle circle, and primaries. So if you go to the bubble that's between 2 primaries, so there's a red one and a blue one, there's a bubble right between them, that's gonna be your violet bubble. So in this case, I'm going to mix violet. So I'm gonna take a little bit, so 50% of red and 50% blue. And I'm gonna go ahead and mix those together. And this stuff isn't evil like children's watercolor where it doesn't make purple. It makes purple, and it makes a really good purple. All right, I need a little more blue in that.
Miss Grail,
Mm-hmm.
I think I finished my grayscale. Can I like ask you about it?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, guys, so that makes a really killer purple in 50% proportions. So that means that my purple is going to go right between those 2 primaries that I mixed to get them. So there's my pretty, pretty purple. So now we've got purple added to the mix here. So how you go about doing this is kind of up to you. I am going, for our purposes, I am going to mix the secondaries first. Personally, I probably wouldn't do it that way. I would probably do all of the tertiaries around this color because I have the purple mixed right now. Don't forget to wipe off your palette knife every once and again. You don't want it corrupting your colors. But if you need it to, do keep it dipped in water. It works better. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and mix for this bubble here, which is between my yellow and my red. So that means what secondary am I getting?
Orange.
Orange. All right, so I'm gonna go 50-50 on this. And this, I will tell you that this orange is going to be a little redder than you think. It's a little obvious from their little sheet, but like I will tell you, it is redder than what you think orange will be. Okay, like you notice that over here, so sorry. So you notice when I'm mixing these, I actually had a section that was a little too red. I just scooted a little section of it over and mixed a little more yellow into it. So that's my correct orange. But it is more red than I feel orange typically is. But it does work in terms of what our purpose is. So I'm going to go ahead and fill in my orange blob, which is between the yellow and the red. So there is my orange. And now I'm going to go ahead and mix my green. So same thing, I'm going to rinse off my palette knife and rinse off my brush. And guys, just so you note, for brush care for these, there is not a lot you have to do. These, especially once you guys get these in the mail, basically all you do is rinse them with water and then shape them back into the point they were and dry them tips up. It's very simple. It'll get a little more complicated when we end up in acrylic, because that you have to like really care about what's in your brushes because it'll ruin them. Okay, so I'm going to take 50% yellow and 50% blue. And what am I getting for this? What color am I making?
Green.
Green. Okay. All right, and I hit that on the head. All right, and so there is my green. So a very pretty green. It's very emerald. It's a very nice color. So I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit of my green and put it between the two primaries that mixed that secondary. So now I have all of my secondaries finished. And I apologize, I'm not filling all of this out, but it's honestly not fun for you guys to have to watch me paint for an hour. So any questions so far, guys?
No.
No questions so far? So there it is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, black is going to be in the middle. Magenta, yellow, blue, and then go to the bubbles between that. So red plus yellow equals orange, yellow plus blue equals green, and red plus blue equals purple. So there are our secondary colors.
Mm-hmm.
Now, our tertiary colors are going to be similar. So in this case, I have a violet here and a blue here. So what do you think happens when I mix violet with blue?
Just becomes a lighter.
Indigo.
You're close. It's more obvious than that, though.
Blue violet.
That is exactly it. It is blue violet. So I am going to, so if you look on the proportions on your little sheet, it's going to say something to the effect of, I believe, one part red to 10 parts blue. Am I right on that?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to show you an easier way to do it. You can follow that measurement if you want. However, if you're doing this all at once, I already have purple made. So now I'm just going to take a little bit of blue and add it to a little bit of my purple. So I'm going to scoot some of my purple over here, and I am going to take a little bit of blue and add it to that and mix. Because there's already a ton of red because we are making blue violet here. So obviously, if you add blue to violet, you are going to get blue violet. You can be very exacting if you wish. You can do the 1 to 10 thing. It does work. I think it is easier to just mix a color and then add a little bit of something, but I am also used to doing color theory. So, okay, so there is my blue violet. You'll notice it's got a distinct blue cast underneath it. So I'm going to go ahead and take some of this. It's a gorgeous color. And put it between the secondary and the primary that made it. Basically, like this whole color wheel is like little colors having babies. So there is my blue violet. And I'm now going to go ahead and say, well, I still have violet made. So I'm going to go ahead and mix this one. So if I'm mixing red and violet, what do you think I get?
Color.
Magenta.
Red, violet.
Maroon.
Red, violet.
Maroon.
So do you literally just add red and then like?
Yeah, I'm going to add a little bit of red to my violet.
No, is that just what its name? All the names
That is
are.
what it's called. It's called red violet.
So like, yellow, green.
I was waiting for someone to catch on.
It's green, yellow.
Oh, I prefer yellow green. I think it's a much prettier.
And I'm gonna slap you in the face.
Yeah, yellow green sounds so much cooler because you gotta start with like the vowel.
So I'm going to go ahead and, so I added a little bit of red into my violet that I already had made. So there's my red violet, one of my favorite colors of all time. And I'm going to go ahead and put that in that same little box that is between the red and the violet that made it. So there's my red violet that is now in that same color wheel. And again, so this is going to proceed in the obvious way that you think it is going to proceed. I'm going to mix a little bit of red into my orange. And what do we think I'm going to get? Red orange.
Red orange.
I already have a mixed red orange here. So my first shot at orange here is over on the side. Is red orange. It's just way too red. So I'm going to go ahead and use some of that. But what you would do is you just add a little bit of red to your orange that you've already made. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in the box. And this is messy. I expect yours to be quite a bit cleaner than this because I'm trying to do it quickly. And now I'm going to mix orange and yellow. And so we're going to get yellow orange. It's getting very gouache. Oh well. Okay, so I'm going to take a little bit of my orange here.
Wait, did you say it's getting a bit gouache?
I did say it's getting a bit gouache. I'm covered in gouache.
Oh, okay. I was just like, how couldn't it be gouache?
Okay, so I went ahead and just took a little bit of my orange from down here and added it to my little yellow because I had a pool of it. And that made my yellow orange. So that's going to go here. And so now we are on to the blues and the greens. So what does yellow plus green make?
Green, yellow.
Yeah, the green.
Yes. Yellow, green, or green, yellow, whatever you wish to call it. I think yellow, green sounds better. So in this case, I'm just going to take a tiny amount of my green from here and mix it to a little bit of yellow. It's a relatively chartreusey color. It's a very nice color. So there you go. There's your yellow green. And I'm going to go ahead and put that in the box here. And last but not least, we have blue plus green, which, what is it going to give me?
Turquoise, I think.
Blue green.
All right, so I'm going to add just a little bit of blue into the edge of my green here. That'll give me blue green. But it is, yes, it's technically a turquoise. Woo! All right, so there is all of my colors in my color wheel. So those are the basic primaries, secondaries, and tertiaries, all mixed. But you'll notice you have some extra boxes on there. So at the end of every one of those, you're gonna see that there is, this is where, Dane, can you hold up the thingy again? Okay, so I have one on the end of the primaries. Okay, primaries and secondaries, I got it. Thank you. Okay, so you'll notice that there are these little bubbles that are at the end of your yellow, your orange, your red, your purple, your blue, and your green. So those are your primaries and your secondaries. All of these boxes are going to be filled with what is called a tint. Does anyone know what that means?
Yep.
What does it mean?
I'm going to the bathroom.
It doesn't mean going to the bathroom. Anyone know what a tint means?
Black.
You're very close. That's a tone.
Tint is like a kind of like. So you look at something and say it's
Add white.
I was close.
So adding white is what defines a tint. Dion, you are actually right that adding black is a thing, and that is called a tone. So if we are making a tint of something, it means that we are making a lighter version of it. So I believe on that little sheet, what it will tell you is it's either, like in the case of a tint for yellow, it's going to tell you 1 part of yellow and 4 parts of white, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that is going to be the same for all of your tints for the primaries. It's going to be the primary color plus 4 parts white. Above your secondary colors, it's going to say mix 1 part plus 4 parts white. What that means is it's going to be whatever the color is below it. So if we're using a tint of orange, you are going to use your orange mix in a single part plus 4 parts of white. Does that make sense? Okay. So in this case, we're just going to mix a couple of tints really quickly. So I'm going to go ahead and do the red tint first. So I've put some white on my palette. And I'm going to go ahead and tilt my camera back down. So I put some white on my palette. And I'm just going to come over here next to my red and add 4 parts of white, which is, yes, it's an approximation. You can be very specific about it if you wish. But it's going to mix you a lovely pink. We're going to go ahead and put the pink in this little bubble above the red. So if I'm going to mix a tint of blue, I'm going to do exactly the same thing. Take a little bit of white and add it to just a small amount of blue over here. And, oh, I'm sorry, you guys can't see. And we're going to go ahead and put that in the little box above your blue. And same deal with the yellow. I'm going to go ahead. Yellow is honestly, out of all of your colors, yellow is the one that I think you will probably struggle the most with keeping clean. It's always, because it's so light, it's so easy to see other color influence in it. So I'm going to go ahead and just make a little bit over here.
That's why I use 2 different.
All right, there we go. There's my yellow tint. So I'm going to go ahead and put my yellow tint above the yellow. And now, luckily, since I have this palette of rewettable paint that I have mixed and saved, which is why you don't throw away gouache, I'm going to go ahead and just add white to my secondaries that I have. So I'm going to go ahead and take some white from in here and come down to my purple. And I'm going to add my white to my purple and put that tint right above where the violet is on my color wheel. I'm then going to do the same thing with my green and my orange. All right, so a little bit for orange. All right, there's my orange tint. And then I'll do the same thing for green. So go ahead and take a little bit of white, mix it into my green. And I'm going to go ahead and put that above the green. Okay, so I now have a pretty complete color wheel. So that is why I say always, you know, to keep your gouache pages for stuff like this. All of this stuff is rewettable later. So like, for instance, half of my colors over here, my black is totally dry. If I wanted to reuse this, I just add water to it. So you can continue to use paints on something like this until basically you're seeing just palette through it. But anytime there's a bulky amount of paint matter on there, you can go ahead and just re-wet it and use it. So here is, I mean, obviously it's not going to be, as yours will not look like this. It will be more finished looking. But so you can see my middle circle is the mixed black, primary red, primary blue, primary yellow. Primary yellow plus primary blue equals secondary green. Primary red plus primary blue equals violet. Primary yellow plus primary red equals orange. And then, so orange plus the primary equals red orange. Orange plus the yellow equals yellow orange. Yellow plus the green equals yellow green. Green plus blue equals blue green. Blue plus purple equals blue purple. And red plus violet equals red violet. So we're always, so it's always going to be an equation. Now if we look at all of our little outside pieces here, so these are my tints. So I have a yellow tint, an orange tint, a red tint, a purple tint, a blue tint, and a green tint. So there's going to be where your tints go. I know that was a lot to absorb. Do I have any questions?
I have a question.
Absolutely, Owen.
Where did you get those proportions from?
It's on the sheet in your Holbein gouache box.
What goes above the primary?
Above the primary is a primary tint.
And then above the,
I'll post it on Canvas for you, Dion.
okay.
I'll post a map. I just need to pull out Photoshop and actually do it on Photoshop because that's a Photoshop document that I made. Okay, does anyone have any questions on the grayscale? Because I know not everyone has moved on to the color wheel.
Yes, I do.
Okay, what's your question?
Yeah, so I fixed it. You said it was too light, so I added like.
Oh, that looks perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, you got rid of the awkward jump. That's all I cared about. Well done.
Nice.
Now, where did? Sorry, go ahead, Dave.
Dane, that looks perfect. Keep working.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Jalen.
Where are the demos located in Canvas?
Unfortunately, I think Canvas has deleted my grayscale demo because we switched off the Canvas LTI. This one I will post, so I'm gonna actually download and save this one, and I will repost it to Canvas later today.
Okay, and also, I'm still working on my grayscale, so how
Okay.
can I refer back to it?
Let me see if
They
I
got
can
deleted.
download that recording, and if not, anyone who wants a redo of that, I'll do it next class for you.
I have an MP4 of the demo.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, you do, Sam?
Yeah,
Can you email that to me, please?
sure.
Thank you very much, dear. So I will be able to post it, Jalen.
Thank you.
Miss Grau, what do we do what do we do with the excess white that we didn't paint in? Do we cut it off or just?
Oh, just leave it.
Okay, and then like just.
Yes, eventually we trim it. Ooh, that looks beautiful, Nick. Whoa,
got-
way to kill
It
it,
got a little dark here, but it's not too noticeable.
dude. Way to kill it. That's great.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so yes, eventually we will cut them and they'll look pretty and be strips, but for now it doesn't matter.
Okay, so just submit. I can just submit the full thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna put up a submission for you guys later this afternoon.
Miss Grau,
Mm-hmm.
I think I finished mine.
Let me see, Jacob. Oh, that's beautiful. Well done.
Sort of like cheated it. Well, okay, it's also like super messy and stuff, but I lightly glazed over some colors for like correction and stuff.
No, that's totally fine. That's actually how you correct a color. Yeah, well done. Okay, guys, so continue working on your grayscales. If you're ready to move on to your color wheel, go for it. I will go ahead and post both the grayscale demo and the color wheel demo later today. So if you're feeling really lost and you just want to hear me talk you through it, we can do that. Any questions, any problems, you can always email me. But don't be afraid of gouache. It's actually very, very forgiving, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, my dears, I'm going to let you go unless there are any questions.
I have a question.
Yes, Owen.
Can you name the first 400 letters in the Owen alphabet?
Okay, can we please serve
We're not server muting Owen. All right, guys, have an absolutely
Oh.
wonderful day. I will see you all for class on Thursday, first hour. Have a great day. Be safe, be well, be wonderful. Any questions, email me. You know where to find me. And
Let me
Peter,
see
I will
first
send you a
hour.
thing of transfer paper. Check the car though, and if you find it, let me know.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem, guys.
I just have a super
Thank you.
question.
Yeah.
For the transferring, like with the color wheel thing, we just like trace over it in pencil.
Yeah, pencil or pen, whatever's easier for you to see. I
And
mean, you
it,
actually.
it just like
It's like carbon paper.
okay, cool.
It's amazing. It's super fun.
All right.
As long as the bright yellow side is down, as soon as you stick anything over it and just draw on top of it, it'll transfer straight onto the page.